Hello my beautiful people, you are welcome back again to my channel. It's been a while on this space and I missed you all. Thanks to those that checked on me. Actually, I was indisposed, but thank God I'm back and better. So in today's video, I'll be showing you how I made this beautiful peplum you are seeing on your screen right now. It's a 720 degrees peplum. Before I continue, let me show you this beautiful beret I made. It's so unique, it's so lovely. It is also reversible, meaning I can use it in two ways. But I will be doing the tutorial of this beret in my next video. But for today's video, I'll be showing you how I made this peplum. It's so easy to make. The picture on the right is also a peplum, but a 360 degrees peplum. I made it 5 years ago with the neck accessories and my earrings. I was also privileged to make these peplums for my choristers. I did their accessories as well. So without wasting much time, let's dive into the video. The materials needed for this tutorial are my fabric, lining, pattern paper, interfacing, pins, chalk, measuring tape, and of course my measurements. So first of all, I'll be working on the pattern paper. I just cut this pattern paper according to my measurements so that I don't waste my fabric. Yeah, so it's folded into 4 and I'll just be measuring the pattern paper because that is also how I will determine my fabric. This pattern paper is 26 inches by 26 inches. I'll be showing you how I came about that, but then we need to do some calculations because yes, we have calculations in sewing. First, I'll determine my waist radius. So how do you get that? First of all, my waist circumference, that's my round waist measurement, is 35.5 inches. So for the 720 degrees flare, it means you are putting 2 circles together, which is 360 degrees and 360 degrees. So you can see from the calculation there. So 360 plus 360 will give you 720 degrees. Now we are going to be dividing that 35.5 inches by 6.28 because that gives you for a circle flare. So if you wanted to do a circle flare, you would divide your waist circumference by 6.28. Okay, but in this tutorial we want to determine a 720 degrees flare. So meaning we are going to be dividing this answer by 2. That's that 5.653 that we got. We'll divide it by 2 so that it will give us for 2 circles. So when I did the calculation, I got 2.83. So for a 720 degrees flare, we'll be using a radius of 2.83. So we'll be cutting out 2 circles. Do you see that? So that's why I have 2.83 in 2 places. I hope this is straightforward. So our radius for this tutorial is 2.83, and whatever we get, we'll have 2 of it. So as you can see from that folded point, I hope you took note of how I folded this pattern paper. From that folded point, I'll just be marking 2.83, but to be on the safer side, you can just maybe mark 2 points, almost 8.3, because I usually notice that most times when you cut it out, it's slightly bigger or wider than your original waist measurement. But then just if you are not very accurate, don't make it too big. So I have marked my 2.83. So here I will now be showing you how to determine the quantity of fabric to fold. So how do you achieve that? You see that your waist radius, should I call it waist radius? That radius we got, which is 2.83, will add the length of the flare. You can decide to use a length of about 6 inches, 7 inches or 8 inches. So but for this tutorial I used 8 inches. I also added 0.5. That's for the seam allowance. Yes, so when I added everything, it gave me about 11 point something. But to be on the safe side, you can just approximate it to 12 or 13. So that is how you get the quantity of fabric to fold. If you look at this pattern paper now, you will just see that I had about 1 inch left. So that is how you also fold your fabric. Let me come again. Your waist radius plus the length of your flare and your sewing allowance or your seam allowance. That is how you get the quantity of the fabric to fold. So when I was able to get that, I just placed my tape on that round curve I made, and I determined the length of the flare. You can see it's 8 inches, or you can make it 8.5 inches. So if you have your curved ruler, you can use it to connect the points, or better still, you can use your free hand like me. So this is me just cutting out the unwanted parts. Okay, so here I was just trying to double check my waist measurement. So this is what you have. This is a circle flare now, but now I am going to cut, I will use it to cut out 2 pieces of my fabric. Yeah, so this is the first one I'm cutting out. When I'm done cutting this out, I would also cut out another piece. That way you will have a 720 degrees flare. So I also use the same pattern paper to cut out my lining, so you will do exactly the same thing. So when I was done doing this, I just used my scissors to open it up, because of course, yeah, you need to open it up, except you want to make some special styles. But for this peplum, you really need to open it up. Yeah. When I was done opening up, the next thing to do is to interface your fabric. So now we have diverse ways you can interface this fabric. I didn't have enough. Since I moved to Canada, buying sewing things have really not been easy. So I usually manage the little ones I have. So it's time to attach my gum stay to my fabric. Had it been I had enough gum stay, I would have attached it to my fabric and my lining. That way you will see it standing very well. But because I didn't have enough gum stay, I just attached only to the fabric. As you can see, this was neatly done. After doing this, I sew it together. Like I attached the 2 circle flares together. That 0.5 inch I added when I was calculating the quantity of fabric to fold actually took care of that seam allowance. That's the joining of the 2 flares. Hope you guys understand. Before I continue, I just wanted to confirm the waist circumference to be sure that I am, on track. So when I measured it, I think it gave me 36 inches kind of. Yeah, which is not bad, because of course I will still have seam allowance, and at the end of the day I will arrive at my actual measurement, which is 35.5 inches as my waist circumference. So the next thing I did was just to place the 2 right sides together. When I say 2 right sides, that is the right side of my lining with the right side of my fabric. I just pinned it, as you can see. Then after pinning it, I'll just be sewing it round, then sew it to that upper part. I will be leaving the waist area opened because I'll be turning inside out from there. So sewing it too, you also need to be cautious because it's a curve. So you just need to follow it as it is. When I was done stitching, I went ahead to top stitch. Top stitching will help the fabric to stay in place. You may decide to notch, but you can also top stitch as well, because there are some peplums you will see the lining part sagging. Yeah, you see it sagging, but if you top stitch, it will help to put the fabric in place. So here is me now about to top stitch. I'll be top stitching it along the lining part. Yeah, so this is me top stitching. I just wanted to show you guys how you do it. This part normally is not that easy, but when you do it, you will appreciate your work. So here is me, I'm done top stitching, and I've also turned it inside out. And here again, I gave it a very good press. As you can see, it's flat. This is the waist area. I also closed it up like I stitched on it. So I'll be setting that aside. Let's work on the belt. This belt is totally dependent on you, on how long or how short you want it. For the width, I used about 5 inches, yeah, 5 inches wide or 2.5 inches of fold. For the length, I think I used 50 something, but I thought I should have made it longer because it was almost too short. So I think using 65 or 70 inches would be perfect. Here I had used my gum stay so that it will be stable. For you to attach this belt, you need to fold your peplum into two so that you can get the midpoint. You can notch it or you can mark the midpoint using your chalk. This is the belt. I also got the midpoint. So watch how I sew it and how I attached it. First of all, I just measured my waist measurement on fold. You can see it. So I'll be marking that measurement on my belt on fold. Had it been I opened it up, I also opened the belt up. Hope you guys understand. So now I marked where the peplum will be, and the other end is the extra. That's where I will be, the part I will be tying. I felt it should have been longer. So this is just a little extra that I did there. I was just trying to change the shape of that tip. I didn't want it to be the conventional type. So that was that triangle I was trying to draw at that end of the belt. Though it's optional, okay? So I just trimmed that place a little, and I'll be sewing it like that. But before then, let me just trim out this part. It's optional, guys, or sometimes you just do some things that are not really necessary, but I just trimmed that part. I didn't want it to look like the normal belt that we know. So from that part that I pinned, I just sew it to the end on both sides of the belt, and I left the middle part open because I will be attaching the peplum to that middle part. Hope you understand. So when I was done stitching on the both ends of this belt, I just turned it inside out. You can use your scissors to achieve that. So this is how this looks for now. The next thing I went ahead to do was to fold in about half an inch. As you can see me do, I went ahead to give it a good press. This is more like hiding the raw edges. Yeah. So I'll be putting my or fixing my peplum inside from the midpoint. You guys remember I notched it, so that is how you will fix it. If you don't do it that way, you won't be surprised to see that one side is longer than the other side, or some might even be balanced. So from that midpoint, I will be fixing the peplum in, then I'll pin it all the way down. Pinning it will make it very easy for you to sew. So watch how I fixed it in. You have to be very careful while doing this. This part requires a lot of pins. I just kept on doing it. So the trick about it is from the midpoint, you go to one end. From the midpoint again, you go to the other end. You pin it to the other end. And that is exactly how you will stitch on it. That's it. Even without stitching, it's already given. So follow me to my sewing machine. Let's stitch, and then we'll almost be done. In fact, we'll be done with the whole thing after stitching because there's nothing more. So it's very easy to make. It helps to spice up your dressing. If you are the type that likes wearing maybe gown or a straight dress, all these accessories can help spice up your dressing. So guys, we are done making a peplum belt. Yes, peplum belt, and it is given. So like I said before, I will be showing you how I made the beret in my next video. If you are new to this channel, you are highly welcome, and if you are a returning subscriber, I always appreciate you. I know you have learned one or two things in this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Also do me well to comment, share, and like this video. I will really appreciate it. And let me also add, if you don't have gum stay, you can use hair stay. You can use any interfacing you have. Some people do use crinoline. The bottom line is that it gives you that wavy effect, that flaring effect. So that's it, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you all in my next video. Stay blessed and bye.